Evening, welcome to another episode of Imitating This, Series 1, Episode 7. So thank you to everybody who's watching, everybody who's listening, whether you're watching it live or on the repeat or whatever. So join us. We've got a couple of people have been on before, regularly contributed to the show. Largo, how are we, mate? You good?
I'm excellent, thank you, sir. How are you?
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Glad it's Friday, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I got up this morning. I got up this morning about 6 o'clock, hit the snooze button on my alarm, and I convinced myself it was Saturday. And then it got to about 6:30, and I went, "No, it isn't."
I kind of did it. I got because I don't work Fridays. I had a few drinks last night, and as you do, and I was watching some Kevin Von Erich matches on YouTube and drinking some whiskey, and I fell asleep on the sofa. And I woke up convinced I'd totally forgot to come on this live stream. And I was at the point of ringing you. And then I realised, oh, wait, it's Friday. I was at the point of ringing you to apologise about 10 a.m.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. You didn't forget to come on, and you're here now. That's the main. That's the main thing. I just laughed my balls off you to run me last night, apologising, and I just strung it out for a few minutes as well. Also joining us, thanks for coming back, and thanks for filling in at relatively short notice, is Ronnie, man of many music festivals. How are we, mate?
Well, not too bad. Crazy week, but yeah.
Yeah, crazy week with music festivals and fundraisers and council stuff, Preston Council stuff as well, presumably, and lots of other stuff in the pipeline as well. Just a quick thing. I've got the old low alcohol brown ale on the go. What are we drinking tonight? What we got?
Tea.
I'm on the usual Mao Classica.
Yeah.
Lager.
Yeah.
Frosty.
Right.
Lager.
You're just on the regular tea at the minute, Rolly. Yeah.
Yeah, not drinking yet.
Mm.
Yeah.
Maybe later on. So thanks for being here. And it was an interesting week. So you've had a music festival on Sunday, which you can tell us about in a second. We also had a very strange football match happen on Sunday, which you had to miss to be at the music festival. During which there was a rather peculiar incident towards the end. I just wonder what either of you lads made of it.
Unusual, isn't it?
It is. He didn't keep it famous, did he?
I was more worried about the look on Osmaich's face when he had hold of the lad. It looked like he was going to rip his head off. They need to rein that in a bit.
He's a big bloke, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's one of them things. It's like obviously we were having a chat before the show. If you did it in a bar or on a bus or whatever, you could bit somebody. It'd be GBH, wouldn't it? You'd be looking at probably a suspended prison sentence or something like that. Largo, what did you make of it? It was just like it's all screwed up.
I was thinking, is there actually? I mean, if somebody did it, if somebody did it on the bus or if you were taking too long at the photocopier or something, I mean, police would be involved. But isn't this grounds for like deportation or something? I mean, I'm just speaking. I mean, you can't go around biting people. I mean,
well, it would. I think that's the thing. If the police were to become involved, it would become a criminal matter, and somebody is an immigrant into the country and they're convicted of a violent offence, they can be deported, can't they?
Yeah. I mean, not that I would want. I mean, as I said previously, I was one. He was one of those people I was hoping would stay in January.
Well, I think we all were until about a week ago. I mean, I think on a human level.
To be honest, part of me still hopes he does somehow stay, but I don't think that's realistic now.
Yeah, I just think if you were his boss and you called him into a meeting the day after, you'd be going, fella, what the hell goes on in your head?
Like, what the hell did you do that for?
I mean, that is messed up. That's right. I worry about the safety of the people here now.
Yeah, training sessions, for example. We know things go on in training sessions that we don't hear about, fights and stuff.
Oh yeah, major injuries as well. You heard the one about we all heard the ones about John Hartson and Al Berkovich and things like stuff like that, and people seriously injuring other people in training sessions.
I mean, the most famous one was, or the most famous one I can think of was Thomas Graveson and was it Ronaldinho? Not Ronaldinho. Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Was it Ronaldo and Thomas Graveson?
Don't know. I'm just thinking, Ronnie, do you have any more on that one? What was your take on it?
It was Blackburn Rovers, and they are owned by the Venkies. Maybe he was just seeing if they do taste like chicken.
Apparently, when the Venkies bought Blackburn Rovers, they didn't know you could get relegated.
They thought it was like the NFL or something.
Basically, yeah, they thought it was like if you buy a team in the NBA, you never get relegated, and they were like, what? And then the season they bought them, Wigan went on this crazy run that no one expected them to, and sort of relegated Blackburn. Like I think Wigan won. I think it was 2012. Wigan won like 9 out of 11 of the last games.
Yeah, that was Robbie Martinez period, wasn't it?
And it was away fixtures at United and Liverpool.
Yeah, they were beating teams they shouldn't have been beating as well. Yeah, yes. I remember it. Steve King was managing Blackburn at the time.
I felt sorry for Steve King at the time, but then it's Blackburn. Who cares?
Well, that's right. And I've never forgotten the way Blackburn Rovers fans behaved in the 1990s. Yeah, like it was going to last. Like it was going to last forever.
They were sending, apparently, somebody told me they were sending coaches to Preston to bus them into Rovers games for free.
Right. Yeah, well, maybe.
But you'd only have to pay your entrance, but you'd travel there and back was free. So they were having to bus them in. And when they were in the Champions League, the stadium was like 3/4 empty, unless they were playing I think they were playing like Rosenborg or something. And the stadium was like 3/4 empty. It was embarrassing.
That was the one game they won as well.
Yeah. But granted, they were like already out by then. But for example, when Millwall were in the what was then called the UEFA Cup, they near enough filled ground, and they were like a second-tier team in the UEFA Cup.
Yeah, that was when they played Ferencváros. What I'll do is I'll ask a trivia question if anyone wants to put it in the private chat or just PM me in social media or whatever. In that Blackburn Rovers Rosenborg game, there was a hat trick scored. It remained the fastest. It was the fastest European hat trick for a number of years. For it was broken not very long ago. If you can tell me the name of the Blackburn Rovers player who scored it, if you both know, but we'll tell you at the end of the show anyway. You know the answer, don't you?
No, I don't.
Right. No worries. So, Ronnie, Best of Preston, Part 1. And obviously you had a mad day on Sunday, didn't you? Because were you off watching other gigs and things and performing yourself? And
it's been a busy time. The Sunday thing was Best of Lancashire, I called it this time, because I drew artists from further afield. Plus, the festival that it's been part of is Lancashire Encounter, although they're just calling it Encounter now. But so I wanted to, align it with that a bit more. So, but I did use a big old footprint of Lancashire and turn a band from Liverpool as well. But it took one. I had one artist drop out the day before, but I'd lined someone else up just in case they were able to step in.
That was Mr. Ash, wasn't it?
It was a trusted old friend, Kevin Ash.
Local blues legend, to be fair.
Reliable as hell. So
that
went out very nicely, but it was a very long day. Obviously, I was down at the market for 10. I think I waited till about 7. Missed the match, with it being my birthday, and then the morning after, I was straight off to the Labour Party conference, and I spent the night in the Cavern pub playing at their open mic on the Monday.
Well, that's good. But yeah, just was one other thing was kudos to you joined us in this rally. Kudos and thanks to everybody who supported with that best of event as well, in terms of from a technical point of view, or just any practical help that was, because there were a few people helping you as well, weren't there?
Well, we had some sponsors. The two councils put grants in, and the main sponsor really was McCreary Guitars. Duncan McCreary, who makes guitars and is also a sound engineer, brought all the sound equipment and did all that. It's just impossible to do without him, really. I would have to pay double or more to get that kind of service off, if I brought it in. But it's kind of mates rates. But he sponsors it. His sponsorship, and also 3507 Studio sponsor.
We're
as well. The amazing recording studio in Pemberton. So, and the Orchard Bar right there on the market, they sponsored it as well. Obviously, they had a good day anyway. We probably had about 200 to 300 people throughout the day, especially when the football finished and there was people streaming through town. Where were they going to stop for a pint when there's live music outside? So
brilliant.
It was very busy for a good hour or two.
That's superb. Yeah, it's a great credit to all the hard work you put into it, and thanks to everyone at McCreary, Duncan, the gang at McCreary Guitars as well. They've been massive support to you. Yeah,
they did an amazing job, because one of the bands were like 13-year-old thrash metal band.
Yeah,
wow.
How on earth do you set these guys up? But it did it no problem, and everybody sounded fantastic all day. So.
Yeah, I mean, when I was 13, I could barely play air guitar, mate. It's amazing to think you've got a band with of adolescents, basically, because they're any good. It's quite amazing. Imagine wouldn't be how good they will be in a few years' time.
But it really helped with the type of audience that we got. It really diversified the audience, so really worked. Yeah,
will do. Different age profiles, and the younger people as well. So you're doing fantastic stuff. You're still doing the open mic. You're still doing the open mic yourself at the Guild. Well, how was the Cavern anyway? So is that one in Liverpool?
Well, it's the Cavern pub on Matthew Street, not the club.
Yeah.
Even the Cavern Club is not the original Cavern. It's not there anymore. But the pub has had an open mic there for 13 years, and it's run by a very well-known musician in those parts, and further than that, in fact, a guy called Ian Pearce, who's had two bands, Pele and Amsterdam. Amsterdam's still going, but he's doing a lot of solo stuff. He's just been supporting Elvis Costello, so he wasn't there on Monday because he was in London with Elvis Costello, but he runs it normally, and most weeks if you're not in at 8 o'clock you don't get on because it's packed, and when you do get on, normally you only get 2 songs because it's so busy. But it was a bit quieter than normal, we got 3 songs each, and it was a good. There was still loads of people there. There was about 10 players there at 8 o'clock, and he said it was a quiet night, but they go through till midnight. So and I left. It was after 10 when I left, and there was still plenty there. More had come in. It's a cracking night, and I'm going to run a trip there from our local, get a minibus up, go down there in November. Maybe make it a regular thing, because it's the best open mic I've ever seen. The atmosphere is fantastic, and they have some regulars who do popular songs. It's original songs only at this open mic, no covers at all.
Right.
It's strictly no covers, but you get a few of the same people doing the same songs regularly, and so people get to know them, and they're really popular.
No, it's good. Yeah, but I tell you, you know from being on both sides of that fence, it's a different experience when you write your own stuff and perform your own stuff, and they are different. They are completely different experiences. Yeah. And putting your own stuff out there in front of people. That's why when you put these focuses on original artists, I think that's fantastic. And it is a look. It takes a certain amount of courage to do, just to get up on stage in the first place, to put your own material in there, particularly when you put your own heart and soul into it, and put that up for kind of public judgment. You know what I mean by that? It's a different level, isn't it?
You can do it in Liverpool. I mean, every other person on the street's trying to be a rock star, I think. But it's a great night, and it's so well established now, you know. And people come from a long way to play there, and of course they get a picture of themselves on stage with, and behind them it says the Cavern. So you know, I mean,
it always helps. You can get T-shirts and everything. Largo, do you get many music venues these days, or is it something?
Actually, probably the last concert I went. Well, concert. It was in a bar in Madrid. Was a band called Sisters of Mercy. About 3 years ago, 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
That's a band from the 80s.
80s, yeah, 80s and 90s. Yeah, they were a very good band. They were a very good band. I thought they were better than. I thought Guns N' Roses were a bit of a rip-off of them in a lot of ways. I thought they were a better version of Guns N' Roses, but Guns N' Roses obviously were more popular.
Well, they were at least for a period of time. Is there any? I don't know. Is Axl Rose still with us? I don't know.
Yes, he is.
It's still an incarnation of Guns N' Roses kicking about, because they've gone through a few lineup changes.
Last I checked, they got back together.
Right.
With Slash and I assume Matt Soren and I assume Duff.
Well, you're right. Okay. Right. See how long that lasts.
They haven't released anything new since about 2008.
Right. Well, sometimes it's best that people don't. I mean, that. Oh my God! I tell you what, I tell you one thing that happened to me was I won 40 quid on the boxing over the weekend, last weekend, and so I had to go out winning, and I just had a sneaky feeling that was going to happen, and the funniest thing for me was listening to they had Liam Gallagher singing a few songs before the boxing, and he sounded like a strangled cat that had been set on fire. It was quite bad. And I was thinking, all those people who paid 300 quid for Oasis tickets into next year. I'm like, yeah, but you knew his voice was shot anyway, didn't you? It's been shot for years.
The boxing, was that like Chorley Fight Club?
No, that was Chorley Fight. No, that was the swan with two necks chucking outside. Yeah, that was always. They were always fighting there. Back in the day, that was. Do you remember when the old days when the pubs used to kick out at 11 on a Saturday night, and they all kicked out at 11 as well, and there were always pubs in town where there'd be guaranteed fighting at chucking out time.
Yeah, in Lancaster,
you do not talk about Fight Club.
In Lancaster, it used to kick off in takeaways.
Takeaways.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's an army camp in just outside Lancaster, so that pretty much guaranteed back in the day there was always someone kicking off.
Right, there you go, Martin. You see,
the lads from the barracks would ensure that there was at least one kick-off a night.
Right, there you go. Outside the takeaway. So there you go, Rolly. Mad Donna has a whole new meaning, doesn't it?
Actually, I remember the walls of one particular takeaway, which is no longer with us, and one nightclub called the Warehouse, which was, I don't know if it was named after the one person. It wasn't anything anywhere near as good. And the taxi rank outside, someone actually went through the walls. The actual wall of the taxi rank just fell apart.
What? The walls
was just a sheet of like cardboard or something, and two drunk squaddies who were battering each other just went through it. It's like, it's mad. Honestly, people think Lancaster's genteel, like the Oxford of the North, but it's absolutely mad. It used to be. I'm talking like 2002 here or something.
Right, I don't know. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, but there's always been. Well, I suppose that's always been the case. But like on Church Street, Ronnie, you'll know there was always battling at the cab rank at Church Street, if I remember rightly, back in the day.
Yeah,
that was bad for it.
That happened this week.
Oh right, that's
one of the pubs on Church Street. Yeah, it was shut down early. The big
Which one?
Yeah. Is it called the Burst Paul?
There's a new one.
No, that's rough. That's the sort of place where you wipe your feet on the way out.
No, there's a new one on Church Street that's absolutely amazing. It sells that beer you like, Teddy. What's it called? That beer you're drinking now.
No, this is Sam's Brown Ale.
Hold on, because I wrote the name of it down. Samuel Smith. So it's Samuel Smith beer. It's on Church Street. It's absolutely amazing, Paul.
That's the Bluebell.
No, that is a Sam Smith.
What a pub.
That's actually that is a Sam Smith's pub, though, isn't it? The thing with Sam Smith's pub,
the owner inside is brilliant.
Oh yeah.
But the only thing is the Sam Smith's pubs, switch your phone off. They don't like phones in Sam Smith's pubs.
Good.
No.
Yeah, they're very traditional. Yeah.
But you can go in there. You can have a chat with people, and the owner is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we'll have to go in. We'll have to go in next time you're up. Definitely. We'll have to do the Christmas special from outside.
I'll have to, is it Christmas present? I'll have to get you an North ticket.
Well, okay, I'll get you a bottle of whiskey.
That's a big trouble. What's he done to you?
What's that? Whiskey? You like whiskey, don't you, Largo? Like you like Jameson's, didn't you?
North ticket.
I do love me whiskey, yeah. I do love me whiskey. I've got a bottle of Grant's at the moment.
Right, okay.
Don't we ever get you 2 tickets?
Yeah, that's it.
Actually, have you seen the price of North End tickets now? They've made season tickets cheaper, but they've put up the price of a match day ticket to 30 quid.
Yeah.
30 quid? That's about to sway the undecided to stay at home.
I went to the first game of the season against Sheffield United. It was 30 quid.
The season tickets are ridiculously cheap, though.
280.
Yeah.
Right, we're going for the cheap season tickets now. Then we've done that. Yeah. So well, there you go. Right. So put you down for a bottle of James and the Rolly. You're a dark rum kind of guy, aren't you? A spice rum even.
Spice rum, yeah. Not the sickly ones. I like Sailor Jerry. It's pretty stuff.
Many years ago, I got somebody a bottle of Ray and Nephew for his birthday. I don't know if you ever had that. That's that white rum that's 62%.
I've got, you can get good rum here in Spain. It all comes from the Dominican Republic or Cuba, and it's there's a lot of dark rum here. It's very nice.
Yeah, dark rum. Oh God.
Well, I got to the Labour Party conference Tuesday morning and forgot there was a hip flask full of cherry cracker in my bag.
Oh, brilliant!
Oh.
Go on.
They let me in. So.
They wouldn't let you in?
No, they did. They did let me in.
They did?
They let you in? Well, did you still have the hip flask on you? Well, you put it in. Right, we can come to the highlight of the show. So during Keir Starmer's speech, when that crucial moment when he talked about Terry Waite, the Lebanese sausage, right? Did you
hip flask going?
Yeah, I was just thinking, is that the point where you crack the hip flask up, or a Keir being guzzling it beforehand? I don't know. Yeah, God, what was the mood in the room? Like, you must have known he dropped a bollock. I mean, what was the feeling?
No, he could do no wrong that afternoon. There was a room full of supporters. He could do no wrong.
What's the vibe within the party now? Because obviously, the next election. I mean, you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose.
I'll come in on that in a second. Go on.
I think they're very buoyant, obviously, with getting power. But I think there is a wait and see feeling because it's early days and obviously a lot of us not happy about that winter fuel payment decision. But there's a lot of pressure on them to change it, maybe not reverse it, but to alter it a bit. It's pretty buoyant generally.
Well, okay.
I mean, the Tories are dumb.
I'll just come in on this for a second. I'm not none of this is a defence of anything that the Tories did or their general buffoonery or anything like that. But we've had the winter fuel thing, which I don't get because the payoff for that is tiny. In big terms, it's not like you're going to save 10 billion off it or anything. Like it's like a guaranteed way to piss off your own supporters. It's crazy. We've had the fiddling around with smoking outside pubs, which I don't think is that's just it's just bong. We've had Angela Rayner doing the disco diva thing in Ibiza, which I don't think is a good look. We've had the free gear Keir now. We've got two-tier Keir and calling everybody far right if they don't agree with him. And I think, and now we've had this little gaff at the conference. I'm thinking, what I've seen is actually his personal rating has plummeted. It's absolutely nosedived. And the reason that there's nothing to worry about at the minute is you haven't got an opposition.
Yeah. Oh, Largo's gone.
Largo?
No, he's gone offline.
Right. Good God.
He'll be back.
I hope so, yeah. But you basically haven't got an opposition at the minute, which is a big help for you. Just put it back on. Here he is. He's back in. But it's helpful. It's helpful living in a one-party state. But there's a few things
of it, knowing that they can can get away with anything. There's a long way to go, but
the way I see it, the only way back for the Tories is if Labour somehow get rid of first past the post, because as long as Reform are around and as long as Reform are as high profile as they are and not in coalition with the Tories, they're just going to gobble up the Tory vote.
I was thinking about this in the week. I've got to say this. I was laughing my nuts off about this gaff that Starmer came out with. It was very funny. And there's all sorts of jokes you can make about it. But do you not think, my experience has been that you've just got a less competent class of politician now than you had, say, 20 years ago or 30 years ago?
100%.
And I actually think that probably parties like Labour benefit from that far more, right? Because I think the forgiveness threshold of a party like Labour, which is seen as a nice party, people will forgive Labour for a lot more than they'll forgive the Tories. For making sense, because the Tories are seen as a bunch of heartless bastards, right? They're seen as a bunch of heartless bastards. And when we had your friend on, Largo, one of the things I did say to him was, when you are a bunch of heartless bastards, you had better be competent. Yeah. You have no room whatsoever. So when you are the nasty party and you screw up and you drop in bollocks left, right, and centre, they're going to come for you. And you saw that in the last term with the Tories. So, Rolly, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the way I say it, as I've said to you before, I think the Tories are fundamentally finished. I think what a lot of people forget is, say the Tories will elect some ghoul, some anti-immigrant, anti-public spending ghoul. But the majority of the country, from north to south, votes for left-wing parties or left-of-centre parties. You've got the Lib Dems. I mean, yes, I know in government they're a disaster, but they are a centrist, slightly left-of-centre if you squint, and the lights and shining in the right direction, left-of-centre party. You've got the Greens, you've got the SNP, you've got Plaid Cymru. These are all left-of-centre parties. So the majority of the country isn't really Tory. It's just the Tories have benefited more than anybody else from a first past the post system.
Yeah, I think your point about the Tories, like they kind of don't serve a purpose anymore, right? Because the whole
Reform do it better.
But the whole purpose of do they? Because maybe the Reform will get their turn and they'll screw up and we'll be because I think the whole point of the Tories was that, when Labour governments got you into a mess and they engaged in their wild public spending fantasies and screwed the economy up and somebody had to come in and clean the mess up, that was what the Tories used to be for. But now the Tories are a bunch of clowns as well, right? Right. Now they're Tories. Now they're yeah. Well, the whole point,
more public money than the last Labour government.
They did. So the whole point of the Tories. So Rolly, you're in a sec. The whole point of the Tories was that they were the competent lot who came in and cleaned up the mess, right? Well, they're not. They've not been competent for a long time. That was their whole raison d'etre. They were never meant to be nice, right? They were meant to be capable and competent and know what they were doing. So once they've not even got that, they've got nothing. Am I making sense? Rolly, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right to some extent, but I mean, this new government is definitely trying to get down to business. There's a lot of stuff being dug up and trying to disrupt it, but I mean, they've got the doctors back to work, they've got the train drivers back to work. You know, there's some good stuff happening. I think the winter fuel payment was a disaster, really, and
Communication of it was.
the threshold should have been somewhere else. You know, it's pension credit threshold, which is 12,000 a year, which is nothing really.
Of course it is, yeah.
But they are raising state pension by 1,700 over the life of the Parliament. So there is payback, but that winter fuel payment has been there since something like 1997. Once you give things like that, it's very hard to take them away again. But anyway, there's a long way to go.
Yeah, for sure.
That's right.
When people get used to having this stuff as well, and it is a one-way ratchet, particularly with something like welfare. It always has been. Yeah. But you know, yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting. I was watching an interview with James Cleverly the other day, and I forgot that there's a leadership election going on with the Tories at the minute. You know, it's quite interesting. It's getting absolutely no media coverage whatsoever. You know, it's like
because they're not going to win.
Yeah, well, someone's going to win the leadership election and be in charge.
No, they're not going to win the next election.
Well, you don't know. You don't know. I mean,
historically, they're not going to win the next election. But politics has been strange in the last 5 to 10 years, hasn't it? You know,
I don't see how people can actually forgive them. I just don't know how people can join the dots. Plus, how much of their voter base is going to be dead by the next election?
Yeah, I mean,
no, I'm being serious.
That's right. Okay, yeah. Well, that was like a dark humour joke about, you know, God, the Tory vote was more freeze to death. Yeah. Well, the Tories as an organisation are literally dying. I mean, their membership has been going through the floor for decades, and why would you join them? Why would you become a member of them? And you know, you point out, will they ever win an election again? I don't know. But you know, that's the thing. I mean,
not in this. I don't see this sort of formation of them ever win. I think they'll have to die and reform as something else before they win.
Yeah, maybe so, because it's like in football terms, they've lost the dressing room, haven't they? You know, yeah.
If there were a brand of car that had this many problems with it, imagine if that was. Would you buy that car?
Well,
absolutely not.
What you'd have to do is you have to shut the company down and relaunch it under a different name, wouldn't you? Under a different brand name.
Yes, at the very least.
For detoxification purposes.
Conservatism it started in the 18th century. You know, 17, even before that, really.
Yeah.
Don't write it off too quickly. You know, I mean, the Lib Dems went down to about 6 MPs, and now they got 72 again after getting into bed with those Tories. And yeah, they look like they're completely on their arse and utterly destroyed after such a corrupt government. But they've been, you know, we've had a 2 or 3 party system in this country for centuries, and they've been the main one. They've had the most time in charge, and I wouldn't write them off too soon.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah, I don't because you've got a 2-party system. I don't see anyone taking their spot at the top table off them. You know, because the only game in town for that are reform, and they're not going to do it because we were talking, Ronnie, about the alt-right. We talked about them lots of times. The alt-right don't like the hard work. They don't put the hard yards in. And if you're gonna topple the Tories and become that voice of that potential government, then you've got to do hard work. The people like Farage and his mates, it's like anathema to them, isn't it?
In terms of new parties, Reform have done incredibly well to get 5 MPs. Incredibly well. I can't even think of a comparison in this country. You know, when you saw the Liberals split and even Labour splits going back, you know, the SDP. Maybe the SDP is the only example in the last 50 years where a new party has been created and they've actually won a few seats. But I don't see them lasting. I mean, they're awful people.
Well, they're incompetent people as well. That's the other thing. You know, we're back to that point. If you're gonna be the nasty party, make sure you're competent.
I'm choosing my words carefully, but isn't one of their MPs guilty of something very, very unpleasant?
Sorry, are we talking about? Let's be very careful here. We're talking about a criminal matter here, Mark, or something else.
Yes, one. I'm not even naming a name. I'm saying one of the Reform MPs is guilty of something extremely unpleasant.
What, worse than being a Reform MP?
Sorry, we're talking about something where he's been found guilty in a court of law.
Yeah, like Young Offenders Institute.
Right. Well, yeah. Let's just double check. Well, I don't know the answer to that, and let's not speculate because we're live. But that may or may
I'm
not
not
be
saying
true.
what it is, but
right. Let's just hold that at there. I think maybe, but yeah. So in all really, in terms of within the Labour ranks, that I was wondering what that particular gaffe was like to the people on your side of the fence. It wasn't a big deal then.
Not really. I don't think so. In the grand scheme of it, I think it was a decent speech overall.
Right.
I wasn't in the main hall. I was actually listening to it in my car driving to Warrington to buy a guitar.
Well, you got more important business to deal with.
Priorities right.
Yeah,
what's the conference in Liverpool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't have the hip flask behind the wheel, did you? No, you didn't.
I was in the conference. I mean, I've been a few times. I don't always manage to get in the main hall for the big speech because everybody wants to get in. But then I got this call. I could buy this guitar, so I jumped in my car. I listened to the whole speech in the car while I was driving there. And then I got back, managed to hook up. I went to one of the sessions, and there's a guy there in a Star Sailor t-shirt, which is the poster behind me.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the recent tour that they've done. That's pretty much a comeback tour, really, the new album. So I was going to grab him and have a chat, but I didn't manage to. It was in a session with Andy Burnham, which
he's great.
Yeah, he's always good.
Andy Burnham's great.
It was standing room only to see Andy.
I hope he's leader one day.
I was just fixated on this t-shirt. What's that t-shirt? But then I was after that. I was kind of getting a bit bored, thinking of going home early, and I managed to hook up with a couple of MPs, and we were drinking till 2 a.m. I won't say MPs.
No. I was thinking you want to go drinking with them again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, as long as it wasn't in the House of Commons bar, you're okay. I've heard that's still subsidised. Cheap beer, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the catering in the Commons. They subsidise all the food and drink, I believe. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, subsidised bar. Yeah, so cheapest pint you'll get in London, anyway. Yeah.
I've been in there's lots of bars. There's not just one. And bars for different groups, different reasons. And there's a bar where you can take visitors. I've been in that one, and it goes out onto the terrace right next to the river. It's the building, the House of Commons building, is just incredible. I've never seen anything like it. Honest
opulence.
Oh. It's just it's so big, and everything's like sculptured and chiseled out, and the actual room where they do the debating is not as impressive as the rest of the building, really. But it's quite small. You can't really get 600 MPs in there, because when you see a big debate and it's full, there's loads of people stood up at the end.
Yeah, I've seen that in the corner.
Not enough seats. And it's quite plush, and when the visitors go in, they're not allowed to go in and sit down in the seats. They don't let them anywhere near it. You just kind of go in the front bit and look at it. And But you can just sort of feel the weight of history in the place. It's just a stunning building. No wonder it costs so much to, to renovate and anything to do anything. But
you can see why people get seduced by it then.
Oh yeah. Plus, a lot of the traditions in there, the way things work in there, are centuries old.
Right. Yeah.
So it is an incredible place, but we're one of the few countries where our democracy has developed over centuries. Most countries have had a revolution, or Germany only had democracy in the last century.
German unification is relatively recent.
Just looking at through history. I mean, if you look at how I think we only had full enfranchisement in the 1940s. I mean, in terms of all adults having the vote.
Really?
I think it was women between 18 and 21. I think women got the equal age as men, 18. I think it was in after World War II. I think.
Yeah.
I'll have to double check it, but yeah.
Very few countries like this one where they've had a very slow evolving democracy over 3-4 centuries or more. Very few.
Yeah. We've managed to do it well, rightly or wrongly, having a monarchy as well, which is quite an interesting way that's developed. Yeah. Just one other quick thing I wanted to mention to you. You've got an update for us, Rolly, on the Best of Preston project, haven't you? The album.
Yeah. So that's today. I mean, this week we got the match funding from the County Council, which was what we were aiming for. Mm-hmm. You've got to get so many pledges on your crowdfunder to be considered for that match funding. It's arts and culture funding. And they gave us 1,400 quid. They give us 1,400 towards the £3,000 target. And we already had about 800. I've got a few more pledges in this week. And today I've topped it up to the £3,000. And we'll work out how we're going to spend the funding. We've got 14 artists signed up, all singer-songwriters with their own songs that they're going to go into a studio and record, and we're going to create an album of Preston singer-songwriters.
Brilliant.
So hopefully we'll have between, not every recording turns out great, so hopefully we're going to have between sort of 10 and 15 maybe on the album.
Are you putting it on Spotify?
It'll be everywhere, yeah. It'll be on all the platforms, and it'll be out before Christmas if everything goes okay.
Yeah, there's some cracking artists on there. I should know but this is a Tracy solo record, Rolly. Promise.
You might have some competition for Tracy because her other partner Colin has written a couple of songs recently.
Yeah. She'll be appearing on everybody's records. I mean, she'll be.
Yeah. Well, there's a shortage of female artists. It's very male dominated. Certainly the Preston scene, anyway. But which is probably why she's in much demand. Plus the fact that she's a great singer, of course.
I'm not a psycho in any way. Leads us on to the next bit, actually. So Largo and me were having a laugh about this in the week, and we did mention it earlier. I've got a history of getting caught up with some rather strange creatures. I think it's a semi-deliberate thing. It's like the replaying of a childhood scenario. It's what they call unavailable people. If you know that phenomenon. So an unavailable person might be somebody who's got a screw loose. It might be somebody who is completely self-centered. It might be somebody who's mentally ill. They might be an addict. But I've got this kind of history of getting involved with unavailable people.
I'm not sure that's very PC now. Somebody who's got a screw loose.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe Maybe we'll have to edit that out. I don't know, but yeah.
Missing the washer.
Yeah, well, maybe. Or but it's a sandwich short of a picnic or whatever. But yeah, we.
No bet.
Rolly's been there for these little episodes, and Largo, you know a couple of stories as well. But there's a history, and there's lots of people like me, and there's like you get women who go for bad boys. They specifically go for bad boys because maybe that's what Dad was like, or whatever, or they've got a thing where they feel the need, so they feel that's their calling in life, and they feel the need to help a person like that. We were talking about if you take that right up to the extreme end. I know you both had a look at this. You have got people who get very unhealthily into really bad people. So I just wonder what either of you had been looking at that, or had any thoughts on it?
What can I say? Everyone's got a fetish. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone's got a fetish, and everyone's entitled to like what they like. I mean,
but you get situations like was it Richard Ramirez and Ted Bundy actually got married, didn't they? After the fact, after all the facts came out about what they'd done,
someone for everyone.
Yeah, we've got stories about really bad people who are in prison for terrible things, getting letters in the post, and I don't know if you saw that, Roy, but I remembered that Monkey Dust episode with Ivan Dobsky, and they play on that. They've got that woman who's into violent criminals, and what's her name? Denise Bingley, but her name is actually Denise Nielsen Sutcliffe Cray Bingley.
Yeah.
After all the time she's been married, so. So
I mean, if I was a woman, I'd be well into Jim McDonald.
What was his missus' name? Jim McDonald's missus?
Liz.
Is that Beverly Callard?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Beverly Callard. Yeah, there's McDonald, right? Because Jim McDonald loved the drink and a fight, didn't he? He loved the drink and a fight, didn't he?
Yeah. He was just outstanding.
It just go to the Rovers, have a few beers, get in a fight, and have a roll around with Liz.
Alec Gilbert would kick him out.
It's like Phil Mitchell of the North.
We batter Phil Mitchell.
We were talking about Phil Mitchell. We were talking about Phil Mitchell the other day, and I can't believe EastEnders is still on television because there's only so many times you can wheel out a new member of the Mitchell family or go around that whole Phil's sober, Phil's pissed hamster wheel. Yeah, but the best one ever. Do you remember that brief period of that month when they put Phil on crack?
Yeah, and they nailed the door the wrong way, so he could have just opened it.
They had him on crack for a month. I don't know if you remember it, Roddy, or not. They had him in a hovel with another crackhead.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and it was. Well, the thing I remember was when they had the scene of him in the hovel smoking crack, and they had Talking About My Generation by The Who playing in the background. And I was thinking, if I was in The Who, I'd be really pissed off. I was thinking, oh my God, I didn't realise it would become, music to smoke crack too. But
the best spell was when he was with Gillian Tailforth, who was married to Gillian Tailforth, Kathy in the series.
Right.
Yeah, and then she got caught performing a sexual act in a car on the side of the road.
Really?
Oh yeah. Because
who was that? Gillian Tailforth or the character? Yeah. Oh right, okay.
Real, yeah.
Oh, real. It was like a Leslie Grantham type situation then.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. You can Google that, and we won a prize at a quiz night at the time for the most creative quiz team name. We called the Gillian Tailforth's Toy Boys, which was hilarious at the time, but it was topical.
Right. Well, there you go. Right. Well, there you go. And the funny thing is, like the women of Walford still see something in Phil Mitchell. I mean, he strikes me as like, God, he's neither the best looking nor possessed of a sparkling personality or anything, but there you go.
He's got the arches, though, hasn't he?
still don't think it's good advice to, commit a serious crime to improve your love life.
No, but yeah.
Wouldn't go.
Yeah. The other thing with Phil Mitchell is that if you were advising him, rule one would be, look, you are an alcoholic. You know you can't have one, don't you? Right. Maybe don't live in a pub. I'll just start at the 10. Don't live in a pub.
He had the cafe as well. He had the cafe as well, didn't he, for a bit?
Yeah. But I've not watched EastEnders for years and years. It's still on television, is it? I've not been following it, so
most popular soap, I think.
Right, because we did a top 10 list of soaps, Rolly, and the winner was Brookside, obviously. Brookside was different league, but
Brookside
that became. Go on, Largo, sorry, mate.
Brookside was good. Brookside was good. Yeah. I used to watch El Dorado as well.
El Dorado, well, that was funny because El Dorado was quite amateurishly done because you could see the cameraman like at the back of the shot and the cables and stuff. It was.
That was BBC's attempt to go head to head with Coronation Street.
Right, with El Dorado. Okay,
yeah.
It's a bit like taking a pea shooter to a gunfight, isn't it? But there you go.
That was their version of the Monday Night Wars.
Right, and they lost. They were more like ECW. I tell you what, Roy, I see Philip Schofield's got his own show now. He's back on television. I could not believe that.
Really?
Yeah, Philip Schofield's got a show where they've stuck him on an island on his own, which I don't mind as long as they leave him there. But it's. I can't say what I can't get my head around is who wants to watch a show with Philip Schofield as the star on it. I don't get where they
Gordon the Gopher.
Right. Well, maybe Gordon the Gopher's gonna maybe he's got a tale to tell. I don't know, but I can't see where the great big appetite for Phil Schofield is. The thing that strikes me about him is he wasn't even a particularly great broadcaster. It wasn't like he was a brilliant presenter or anything.
No, he wasn't exactly Des O'Connor.
No, Des Lynam or either of us, Largo. Yeah. What do you make of Ronnie? What do you make of Philip Schofield? Do you watch anything of his? Or?
It's a strange one, isn't it? I mean, he was very popular, but it's an odd one. I mean, apparently he went grey at the age of 18 or something. He was dyeing his hair, and then halfway through his career decided to go grey. And then things seem to be going great, and then it turns out he's coming on to younger people in a professional setting. It's not great. It's not a great career move, but it just seems to be anybody can come back from anything these days.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Piers Morgan, for God's sake.
Piers Morgan printed fabricated photographs that implicated British soldiers in torture on the front of a newspaper.
That's right.
The regiment from Preston as well that he was referring to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, didn't Piers Morgan get implicated in an insider trading scam as well? I don't think he got done for it legally, but he was implicated as having some sort of dodgy dealings to do with shares as well.
I mean, his main thing was that photos, and there were photos. But I mean, that whole era of the tabloid press, phone hacking, awful. But to come back from that.
Yeah, but I've wondered that. It's like, do we live in almost like a post-shame society?
I think people have got really short memories.
Yeah.
They just forget. It's there. It's a bit like newspapers. They're there one day and gone the next. And I think that seems to be the same with people's memories. A lot of people. Social media doesn't let people forget anymore, but it doesn't seem to matter.
No.
It's like Roddy. If you got caught up in political scandals, say 30 years ago, that was you finished. Yeah. If you were in the government, you were out the government, you weren't a minister anymore. And you know what? It's probably for the best. You don't stand at the next election. Yeah,
people used to actually resign though, didn't they?
Yeah, they used to resign in disgrace.
In general,
something like Schofield, that'd be it. The person would go and live in anonymity forever, and then there might be the subject for peace 10 years later about, they turn up saying they're sorry and regret what they did, but that would be it.
They don't resign anymore, do they?
Yeah, you're right. It's like It's like a post-shame thing. It's like there's no embarrassment about anything. That's a bizarre thing. Yeah. So
part of the post-truth era.
Post-truth, yeah.
Yeah, it's part of that because you can just almost deny anything. Put your own spin on it, and this is what postmodernism was. Everybody has their own perspective, and they're all valid.
Yeah, but it's got into bed with moral relativism, hasn't it? And that's where you get into this ridiculous thing, about there being 137 gender pronouns and stuff like that, or I identify as an aardbart this week. Well, you can identify as whatever you want.
Me started.
Yeah, well, I know. We're not on the woke bus, are we?
I identified as 6'3" last week, but I still couldn't reach the top shelf.
I
can't understand it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's not real. But
Darren,
Darren,
would it be okay to ask Rolly what's his involvement with PCW?
Do you have? I know your son is a wrestler, Rolly. I know he looks like one of the nasty boys, doesn't he?
It's run by Mr. Stephen Fludder, who's done a sterling job for the last 15 years or so.
Yeah. So what's your take on PCW? Are you involved with it on any level, or are you just there to support your son? I guess
Oh, obviously, my son really got me into. All the kids were into wrestling, and then it faded. But the youngest lad, has actually become a wrestler, and it's his life. And he wrestles for PCW, and I wasn't really into wrestling until he got me going to their shows, and a couple of shows in, there was this match between two wrestlers called Adam Cole and Dave Mastiff.
Adam Cole
and Dave Mastiff.
Dave Mastiff was on World of Sport, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah.
Adam Cole's in AEW right now. He's huge.
PCW have had loads of those wrestlers that are on WWE, AEW. They've had loads of them. But they had Adam Cole, and they had this match, and it won me over. That match, made me a wrestling fan. And that whole match is actually on YouTube.
Right, that's Adam Cole against Dave Mastiff. I remember Dave Mastiff was on. Dave Mastiff was the World of Sport champion on the first episode, wasn't he? He was actually and he fought what's his face.
Adam Cole is an outstanding wrestler.
Yeah. Really popular, but at that time, PCW were getting loads of exports, what we call exports. American wrestlers over. They had everybody, except the one from Preston, Wade Barrett, never got in. But
no,
everybody else. So I help out. Obviously I drive him and some other wrestlers around sometimes, and but I've got no, investment in the place at all.
Stephen Fludder seems like a great guy.
Well, Stephen has been doing it a long time, and he had a spell, 8-9 years ago, where PCW was drawing in 600 people regularly in a night.
When it was at Tokyo Joe's.
Yeah. And it was an incredible venue, and he was filling it every month, and it was incredible atmosphere, top stars from all over the world. And, wrestling seems to wax and wane, and it seems to be on the way back again. So it had a bit of a lull, and sometimes it lulls because there's too many wrestling companies around. That's what Stephen says. He said
but he's managed to keep the lights on, hasn't he? That's the main thing. You just keep the lights on, and then
So when it's popular, loads of little wrestling companies spring up, start putting shows on, and the fans get thinned out. There's only so many wrestling fans. They get thinned out, and then it dies. It dies back a bit, and then it comes back again. And
so
PCW was the biggest in the country. Talking like 2013, around that time.
It was certainly, right up there with the best of them at the time in the UK.
Yeah,
definitely.
What's his name? Stephen
Fludder.
Yeah. Shall we ever try and see if we can get him on the show? Shall we reach out and see if we can contact him? Might be worth a go. What's the worst do we say that?
He'll have some amazing stories. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he got the Steiners. He got the Steiner brothers to wrestle at Tokyo Joe's. I mean, how do you do that?
You pay him a lot of money, I imagine.
The biggest pop I saw at PCW for an overseas wrestler was a guy called Austin Aries.
Austin Aries, yeah.
That was the biggest sort of where the crowd went, oh my God, they didn't know he was coming out. And
he's very controversial though. He's been cancelled now though. He's like anti-vaxxer and everything. He's been cancelled.
There's been a few scandals. There's a bit of a scandal in this country, this Me Too stuff. People saying they've been not treated very well by certain wrestlers, and a lot of them.
I can imagine.
I've
not seen the Vincent Mann documentary yet.
But it goes on. It's I tend to call it a sport, but it's entertainment really, and it's really good that he gets the summer show every year, and he did a couple of big shows in the Guildhall when that was open in Preston.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's a big venue.
They were pretty much free tickets, so he just charged a booking fee. Because he could get so many people in, he could make you pay that way. And the shows are fantastic. And if we can get that place back open again, I'm sure he can do it again.
Oh, but Guildhall's brilliant for wrestling.
Yeah.
I saw a show there back in the day, and it was during the days of the tribute shows where you get like fake Kane and stuff. But there was some decent people on the card, and it was a good night.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than having Bongo's Bingo there, isn't it? And I've been on a Saturday. I've been impressed on the Saturday. They've had Bongo's Bingo in the Guildhall and upstairs, and it starts in the afternoon, doesn't it?
My thing. It's like a rave, but they're playing bingo. It's
a
bit of an odd one, but not my.
Well, people dancing like lunatics on the balcony. Yeah, they're not. But it's funny because everyone's pissed up by 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I was I'm just quite conscious of the time. Actually, we've been going for an hour, so I just wanted to So just a couple of quick things, Largo. You've got a particular T-shirt on tonight.
Andre the Giant.
So you got Andre the Giant T-shirt.
I'm a huge Andre the Giant fan.
Well, it's hard not to be. Most people are. Yeah. What are your memories on Andre the Giant? Both of you.
Andre the Giant, my memory was of my dad getting me a video that had been copied of the Survivor Series 88, where he was, I think he wasn't even the main event, he was on Jake the Snake Roberts' team.
Right.
And even by then, 88, Andre the Giant, his best years were far behind him. So I can't say that I ever saw Andre the Giant at his best before YouTube came along.
No, for sure. Andre the Giant's best years were probably the 1970s and early 1980s.
In Japan.
Yeah, in Japan for sure. Yeah, I mean, I suppose the big one that everyone remembers is WrestleMania. WrestleMania
people forget, even by the time Hogan slammed him, he was 40 years old. He spent most of the match clutching the rope clutching Hogan because he was in chronic pain. Yeah,
just to the uninitiated, Andre the Giant, it's in the name, was born and had for his whole life. He had the condition giganticism is the name.
Yeah. He also had what you would now call anxiety, because he just really didn't like walking down the street and having people staring at him.
No, because he was probably because he was a freak of nature, I guess.
Yeah,
you know, in the
he just
nicest
wanted to be
possible
like
way.
everybody else.
So because of the condition he had, he was just kept growing and kept growing and kept growing. He's obviously gone up to being 7 foot tall or whatever, and he's kept growing sideways as well. So he's 500 pounds. And
he drank a lot. He drank a lot of beer.
Yeah, and by the later stage of his life, he was in absolute physical agony for much of the time.
It was an uncomfortable life.
Wrestling was hell for him. Rolly, what were your memories of him? Did you get into wrestling fairly late on in life, or so?
Well, yeah, my lad is like encyclopedic on wrestling. He doesn't just wrestle.
Oh, we've got to get him on.
He's so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
On even historical wrestling, he watches it all, and he's got what you might call a photographic memory. He can watch stuff and read stuff, and he never forgets it. Incredible. So, it wasn't he in one of those prison films, American prison films, where they played.
It was in a few movies. That's one of the things about.
He was in The $1 Million Man.
Yeah, he was in
$6 Million Man.
Yeah, and he had a bit of a filmography, which is another thing that he beats Hulk Hogan at. I was going to tell you actually quickly before we wrap up is this thing about Hulk Hogan. You know, I don't know if you know this, Ronnie, but Hulk Hogan has got a sad and unfortunate sort of history of being economical with the truth. We'll call it that. You know, he's got a tendency to embellish and add made up facts to stories. Is that a fair description, Largo? I think it is. And one of the things he put on the TV series Hogan Knows Best. He got this pair of boots out, and he said, "These are my favourite boots, brother." He goes, "Because these are the boots." In 1987, I slammed Andre the Giant. And I was the first man to slam him. Right? Lie, absolute lie. He wasn't the first guy to slam him. Right?
He'd been slammed in Japan.
He had, yeah. I think that Harley Race slammed him as well. And he goes,
and the Great Barber.
I was the first guy ever to slam him. No, you weren't, Hogan. And then he goes, and Andre the Giant died a few days later. No, try a few years later. Right?
Do you think this is the onset of dementia or something?
I don't know. I don't know what it is with him. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist or anything. I mean, it could be any one of a number of things. It just seems to me that he has this desire to exaggerate stories and put himself into events where he wasn't really there. So, it's a shame. But I thought that was just a I saw that other thing was better just finish up with the rest of the thing. Ronnie, if someone's to come on the show, great. We'll behave ourselves.
We might do. We might do. I was talking about Paul Hogan, to be honest.
Sorry?
I thought you were talking about Paul Hogan.
Sorry, the crocodile guy. No, yeah, Hulk Hogan.
No, the two of us could talk wrestling all day long.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think, and Largo, I think you and Ronnie's son could.
Could be a long show if you get my lad on. So,
there you go. Yes. I'll leave you to that to disappear.
Talk wrestling till we pass out.
Yeah, I'll just go shopping. Don't worry. Just a couple of quick things. Yeah, Ronnie, just before I add a couple of quick things to the end of the show, is there anything else you want to talk about or mention quickly? Any dates, any important dates, or?
Obviously, we've got the open mic every week at the Guildhall House every Wednesday, without fail. We've got October 9th, I think it is. That is the third anniversary, third birthday of Rory's open mic at the Ale House.
Yeah.
3 years, so we'll have a bit of a do. 10th of November is Remembrance Sunday. We're going to have a special open mic in the afternoon where everybody's doing, vintage type wartime songs.
Yeah.
And we've already got some people booked in for that. We've got a couple of guys who do those anyway, most of the time, on piano and trumpet.
So that's retro.
Yeah. I call them the old
Straits.
Retro, yeah. I call them the old guys just for reference. But I've got another young lad who looks like Bob Dylan. He's going to be doing Woody Guthrie songs, anti-war songs and stuff like that.
This machine kills fascists.
Yeah. So it's going to be a great afternoon, something really different. We might do a little raffle for British Legion or something October 27th, we've got more singer-songwriters on as well.
Yeah, and that's on the market, and that's on the market by the Orchard, isn't it? Yeah, and that's in a sorry?
That's in the pub, that one.
Right, okay, right, great stuff. That's on October the 27th as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Largo, is there anything else from you to make a couple of quick points at the end and just mention a couple of quick things?
I'd just like to ask, what are everyone's predictions for Preston North End versus Arsenal in the League Cup?
It depends entirely what team Arsenal put out. If it's their women's team, I give us a good chance. What about you, Ronnie?
Well, Saka started in last round.
So they destroyed Bolton.
Yeah. And, when they're starting plays like Saka, quite often these Prem teams, they play a lower side. They put a weaker team out and put some stars on the bench in case it's not going so well. Arsenal might be doing it the other way around. Get the stars on early, win it early, and then rest them. I don't know. But the way North End are playing under Heckingbottom, I think we might dig in and make a bit more of a game of it.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see that happen, but logically, you'd think that if Arsenal put any kind of decent team out, the quality's going to tell in the end. You'd think so.
It'll be very tough, but if they can stick it out for half an hour, how can happen?
Yeah, it can. Look at upsets happening cup matches still. It'd be interesting to see what the attendance is as well. I mean, whether it's on television as well.
Oh, it's got to be big if it's Arsenal.
It's been picked for Sky on the Wednesday night.
Right, it's on Sky.
End of October, I think it is.
Right. Okay. That'll be the week of. That might be the week of. Just after your show on the 27th. I'm thinking about it. On the 30th.
It's that week.
Yeah. Right. Cool. We'll see what happens with that. But I mean, if I
nearly Halloween then, isn't it? So but it's not a horror show.
Well, Halloween, I think, is the 31st. It's a Thursday. So, I think it might be the night before Halloween. Thanks for reminding me. Do stay tuned for our Halloween special, where the special guests will be the Chewits Monster and the Liberal Democrats. It promises to be a terrifying show. Just a couple of quick announcements if I can. Jeannie's not been so well. Jeannie's the writer of this book, Fairly Tall Tales, the one that's in the erotic poetry chart. I know she's a big fan of the show, and she recently described me as an international influencer, which I
brilliant.
She's a big announcement. Big announcement, that big phrase. I'm not sure it's entirely true. I think you could call me a sausage to fortune. There you go. But I know she's not been so well recently, Jeannie. So do get well. I hope you're on the mend.
Well, get well, Jeannie.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening, Jeannie.
Yeah, thank you. So thanks for everybody who listens to the show regularly. And another quick thing, if we can, another friend of mine, Nikki, she is on the lookout. She was on the lookout for a new man, and we're going to put another appeal out if we can. I did ask her, well, what was the first thing you looked for in a man? She said a yacht, and I.
I've got an inflatable dinghy.
Well, there you go. You'll know we put this appeal out on stage in the Guild a few times, and there you go. Room pub full of men, not a single yacht monster. But maybe
I'm a yachtless wonder.
Yeah, there you go. That's the thing, though, Rolly. We were in a city centre, weren't we? Maybe it was a location. So if there are any single yacht owners, any single yacht owners listen to the show. I've got a lovely mate who'd like to meet you, and there you go.
Mind you, just make sure. I mean, you wouldn't want a yacht in the UK with all that E. coli in the water.
No, well, and all that sewage that energy company's been pumping in there.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
Yeah, all that toxic waste. Right, yeah, but you never know. Mr. Yacht may be listening to the show. If you are, then get in touch. Leave a comment or whatever. Any more? Anyone got anything to finish with?
Not from my end.
I'm all talked out.
Nice one. No, Ronnie, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've had fun. You're going to have a drink now. You know parties to go to tonight, mate, no?
There's stuff I can go to. I don't know if I'm going out. We'll see.
Right, okay. Well, have fun and try not to fall in love with any psychos. That's my job. Right.
I'll point
Right.
to
Yeah. No, you don't even need to do that. Then, like, it's like a radar, isn't it? Yeah. It's like a homing pigeon. Right, Largo, anything from you, mate?
No, mate. As we speak, I'm just getting changed. I'm going out tonight. Going for a pizza with some friends. So yeah, pizza, a bit of wine.
Pizza and wine doesn't get any better than pizza and wine, does it? Brilliant. Well, have fun, and thank you both for being here and being you. Thanks everyone who's listened, and catch you for the next one. Next week's guest is sports broadcaster Gary Naylor. So thanks to Gary, and look forward to having him on the show. Thanks everybody, and night.
Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks, sir. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rolly. Bye.
See you later.